Fastest show in sports.
Is it not fair to say that the biggest story in sports right now has got to be, without question, undoubtedly, SHADEUR Sanders? My God, what an amazing first preseason game. The guy is ready. There was and I actually put this up on my social media. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it. I put it up as a gag. But there was an AI portrait of a statue of SHADEUR Sanders outside the Browns Stadium. And, and they have now decided to go ahead and name him part of the Cleveland Browns Hall of Fame for an amazing first game. Look, people, he had a good first preseason game. Now you've got idiots out there like Stephen A. Smith saying that they want him to fail, but Stephen A. will just say anything stupid to get somebody to come to his site or get to click on him or whatever.
Hey, don't knock Stephen A's got to validate that $100 million deal, dude.
And he is. Look, he's on newscasts now. He's on sportscasts now.
Bill Maher had him on last week, I guess.
Exactly.
I didn't see it. Exactly. I can't imagine Bill Maher and George Will on the same program, but I got to see it.
You got to see.
I'm sorry, I can't imagine Stephen A. and George Will, the conservative columnist, both of whom I know, more peripherally. I know Stephen A. really well, but I know George Will peripherally fairly well. And the fact that they were on the same telecast, I think, says everything about media today. There was a guy that was a Pulitzer Prize-winning economist, a guy who knows, whether you think George Will is a big stick in the mud and he's just a conservative blowhard, or you think he's now the Republican voice of reason, whatever you think of him, guy's incredibly smart, And Stephen A's not dumb, but he sure ain't he sure ain't freaking Rhodes Scholar.
Well, but that's what you do. You bring in the smart guy and you bring in the clickbait clown. Yeah. That's all it is to know. When somebody says to me, when I look anymore, I said, look, we have to get CC, which used to stand for closed captioning. I said, no, it stands for clickbait clown. That's what it is. But there are so many people out there now just ballyhooing SHADEUR. He started a preseason game.
Go ahead. Tell me what you think about SHADEUR Sanders.
Because look, he's a talented kid, and he had a good performance in his first professional preseason game. I can't take that away from him. But at the same time, he was up against the second, third, fourth, and garbage stringers, because the main players don't really play anymore in preseason games. They don't want to get hurt. So he's basically playing against the lower string. It's like if he's playing in college and he's up against the second and third string there. Stuff happens, but that's what preseason games are for. They're there to run up big numbers and see what anybody can do. Look, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but the kid in Miami had a disastrous first preseason game, and basically they're already talking about the fact that he's not even going to be on the preseason roster soon. So SHADEUR came out and did what he had to do. He performed. He's an athlete. He's an excellent college football, now turned pro football athlete. But to take what he did in the first game and say that he's shown everybody what he can do, back off, stick it in your sock. This is preseason. Means nothing until the big action starts to happen.
Okay, you want to go there, buddy? I'll go there with you. SHADEUR Sanders
Here it comes.
is the frickin' next Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Jesus Christ combined. This is a man who's going to bring us to the promise. Okay, but all seriousness.
No, really, Mike, keep going. You had them all going there for a minute. For just a few seconds there, you had everybody thinking that you meant
it. This might be too big picture, but like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, they're not even like athletes anymore. They're racial litmus tests. That's what SHADEUR Sanders is. He's a racial litmus test. If they think you're the old white guy that wants them to fail, you're racist, or he's not getting his due enough, then you're racist. If you think you're SHADEUR Sanders is literally the second coming of Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Steve Young combined, then you're down with the cause. You know that SHADEUR Sanders has been wronged. There's probably an in-between somewhere. I hate to say it, Ed, but there's probably an in-between, which is the guy. One, he's a kid, and I understand that he's 22, whatever he is now. These guys are 22. They can wear their chains. They can wear their tats. They can wear their tood. They can, doesn't matter if you're black or white. You're 22. You're still a kid. When you take out all the jewelry away, when you take all that stuff, you're still a kid. You're learning how to speak. You're learning how to say. I actually, the best thing that I saw this weekend about SHADEUR Sanders, he went up to a reporter who thought it was being really mean to him in Indianapolis. There was a clip of it, and he's like, "Hey, how come you're always writing mad stuff? I try to talk to you guys and whatever." And it wasn't like nasty or biting. It was just kind of like he was asking the guy a question. And I like any writer or any athlete that comes up to you and is sort of honest about how they feel about your coverage. I can respect that. And
Sure.
so I liked that. That to me was like a mature moment for the kid.
Well,
And
let's face it
I
about
want to see
SHADEUR,
him do
though.
well. I want to see him do well. But I just think that, just like I said, he's a racial litmus test. He's also a referendum on how dumb can you be if you think one game makes a preseason. I was there at the Hall of Fame game in 2008. A guy who finished fifth in the Heisman Trophy winning and passed for more yards in the history of the NCAA than any other quarterback ever started for Washington at the Hall of Fame game in Canton. And he had this amazing game, and he had everybody thinking, "Oh my God!" I forgot who the quarterback was at the time, Mark Brunell or somebody forgettable, but his name was Colt Brennan.
Except
He
to
was from
Mrs.
Hawaii.
Brunell. So, yeah.
Colt Brennan. I started to call him Cult Brennan because everybody in Washington, the most famous person after the leader of the free world in Washington is the quarterback of the NFL team. And all of a sudden, Colt Brennan had this following of, "Oh my God, we got to start him." And he was improvisational. He threw for a couple touchdowns. He just looked special.
Well,
And
you know why?
R.I.P.
He
He's
also
dead.
had the name, too, because if you're an NFL quarterback named Colt Brennan, I mean, come on. You've
Yeah,
got the name, brother. You can brand
yeah,
that. That's perfect. What's his name? Colt. Like if his nickname was Trigger or something like that, You could have fun with it. SHADEUR Sanders
right.
is undoubtedly,
But
in my mind.
Let me finish about Colt
Oh, go
Brennan. Let
ahead.
me finish about Colt Brennan. R.I.P. By the way, I got to know him. He come on my radio show, and he had a drug problem. He ended up dying in a car accident very young. And but at any rate, even when Cole Brennan was in the league, there was no question that he had some talent, but he was going to be the backup. I'm not saying SHADEUR Sanders shouldn't start. I'm saying you got to have a body of work in the NFL, and people have to scout and see what you do. And if he starts opening week one, then I think all the detractors need to that's a point where you said, wait, you beat out all these four quarterbacks on the roster, whoever they had, and you're the starter, and
Well, but
they
wait a minute. Hang on
deem
a
you
sec.
the
If
guy
he
that can
starts
lead
the
them.
first
Like
game,
that's when you need to take
no,
that's when you need to
no.
that's when you need to give shit to people.
That's not when you do it, because even if he wins the
Why?
job, hang on, even if he wins the job and starts the first game of the season, that automatic first start doesn't tell, hey, he's made it now.
Okay.
No, you got to wait and see how he
How about
performs.
when he goes to the Super Bowl?
Well, come on, it's ridiculous. Cleveland's never going to win the Super
What do
Bowl in
you
our
think?
lifetime, and everybody knows it.
Well,
But
wait,
the
SHADEUR
fact of it
Sanders
is,
went in what round
just
was SHADEUR Sanders picked in?
just starting the first game of an NFL season does not automatically
What
anoint
round
you
was
as being
SHADEUR
a great
Sanders
quarterback.
picked in,
You've
Ed?
got to get through that first game, and you got to get through the first couple of games, and you got to prove you've earned it, and you should be there. That's for anybody.
What round was SHADEUR Sanders picked in?
22nd
No, I think it was the fifth, wasn't it?
round. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you know who was picked?
exactly.
Do you know
So to
who
have
was?
a quarterback
Do
who was
you
picked
know?
back,
Do you
it's
know
a
who
big
was picked in the
accomplishment, but
sixth
it doesn't
round?
set you. It's
Do you
a
know who was
it's a
picked in the sixth round?
it's a big accomplishment, but it doesn't automatically make you the star, the answer, and everything there. You got to prove that you can get
We
there,
agree.
because Cleveland right
We
now
agree.
needs somebody, anybody. So, but that comes down to another issue here. I have no question whatsoever that I think SHADEUR Sanders is probably, out of all the kids that came out of college this year, he is the smartest quarterback. And there's a reason for that. He's been around it his whole lifetime. He's been around his dad. He's been around the teams. His dad gives him a certain cachet because he's learned football from a guy who, it doesn't make a difference what you think about him and all of his cartoonish behavior. He's a damn smart guy and an excellent football player. He's one of the best at his position, without question. So SHADEUR has learned this. So he comes into the NFL already. He's not like a lot of these guys who the only education they've had is college and maybe having a good quarterback coach in college. No. He's had it there from the pro side of things. So I think he is the smartest quarterback out there. Does that mean that he's automatically going to become the best rookie quarterback out there? No. Look, you and I both know this. We've interviewed enough rookies who have come into every sport where the first thing they'll tell you is speed kills. There's nothing like the speed of a game. When you make that transition from college to pro in any sport, the speed is incredibly different. You have no idea what you're at by the time you get into that game. And that's not preseason either, Mike. Preseason is three-quarter speed in a lot of times. And a lot of the guys, look, we come from a time when preseason games, you used to see the big guns play those first couple of games. Now they don't do it as much because they don't want to take a chance on getting injured. The franchise doesn't want to take a chance on losing their meal ticket. So they hold them out and they see what the young guys can do. He did very well in his first game. What he does from here on out, part of the learning curve. To your point, he's still a kid.
That's all, folks.